It would be a departure from where we've seen the Leshrac played, but in this
Yeah.
situation, you come in with a strat, sometimes because in the best of ones, you don't always have the best ability to prep for each opponent. Now you go into a best of 3, you know what you're going to run. Could be something they look at.
This is a crazy amount of push as well, right? Between the skeletons and the Diabolic Edict. It's actually very scary. So Amplfy, just gonna take just pick up the Mars here. I'm a little bit surprised at the Mars pick actually. I don't think it's particularly amazing against either of these two heroes, whether they're like off lane or a higher priority core. So I guess they do maybe just like the hero, or again, like you're saying, maybe there's some strat value here. The disruption into catcher into Mars spear is a pretty nice combo.
Definitely. The other thing that you talked about the other day was Shadow Demon occasionally being played, even though they're in the position 5, then played in the off lane and paired together with somebody. So that could be something to watch for. I will say that if it is a Leshrac in the core role, just being able to arena him sounds kind of nice because that Leshracs don't oftentimes want to go early into a BKB, and there's not really many other answers besides that.
Yeah, I think the only thing is that Lesh is going to build like a Yules, so if you catch him in the arena, but you don't hit him with the spear, then you're not going to really do any damage to him. And he kills Mars pretty well. Like, Mars is survivable against right-click damage, but Bulwark's not going to help against anything that Lesh is bringing to the table. But the one thing that I will say, the other reason that I think there's some kind of dual lane shenanigans or something going on, is it would be really weird for Adroit to open with 2 cores. So I think at the very least, it's like position 4 Leshrac.
Is it far enough to say that you would not like it if they open with those 2 cores?
No, I think you're leaving yourself too open to counter picks.
Wow.
Ooh, Wisp makes it through. Okay.
Look at this. Double heals coming out. Has Amplfy even really run the Wisp at all yet? That's something else to think about.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Because that's one of those heroes that you tend to not ban out if they don't see it.
Yeah, they played it 3 games.
Okay.
100% win rate.
Well, let's pack it in, everybody. Game's over.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure Adroit have some 100% win rates on their heroes as well. And now the Centaur coming in pretty late. Like I said, he was by far the most contested. And Amplfy just going straight for the Gyro Wisp. Okay, so strong dual lane.
So again, if we're hearkening back to the idea of a Leshrac support, probably go for something along the lines of a Death Prophet mid. Oh, it's banned out already.
Yep.
But you'd be looking for a mid here most likely if it is going to be that Lesh support. But Io Gyro let through into the second phase.
Yeah, Amplfy pretty much only have magical damage so far. So Centaur's going to be getting a really fast pipe. The Fate's Edict could be super helpful this game, just in terms of keeping people alive. And I'm not 100% sure how the damage is going to end up stacking up against what Adroit have, because they got some really beefy heroes already. Wraith King, Centaur. I think Amplfy actually need to get off to an okay start to be looking good in team fights. But I think their lineup will come online just a little bit earlier. Centaur needs some time to get a blink. Wraith King, by far the predominant build that we've been seeing is the Midas Radiance. So that all takes a little while to come online.
I guess the other thing that you need to be worried about is if you do even have that, if you think, okay, the way that we're going to survive is by Stampede, Mars kind of throws a wrench into that plan, right? Like, you just throw down the arena and you're no longer able to stand.
Yeah, for sure. So picking Centaur into the Mars, I do think, is a little bit strange. And ooh, this is such a nice answer to these tanky strength heroes. Actually, I don't know why they banned Puck. This is such a good OD pick. Like, it's just gonna shred the Wraith King and the Centaur. The imprisonment is really nice against the false promise as well. Like, you just waste the whole duration pretty much. Do they have a laning counter to the OD? They're just going to go for the Lina. The burst damage looks pretty good, and we did see Lina absolutely... I mean, there were some extenuating factors in that game, but we saw Lina absolutely handle OD the other day
It's
in
true.
lane. So
I mean, that also, if I remember correctly, that might have had like a Spear Breaker or somebody else in tow that were messing with the situation. And that is one thing to be a little bit concerned about. There aren't really that great of heroes to rotate for Adroit if the lanes start looking like a little bit of an outclass, or more importantly, if the OD is just able to have a free start. Like, how do you handle that?
Yeah, that was Max Lena, by the way. That was Adroit versus 496.
All right.
Was the game. So he knows the matchup for sure.
Carl also no stranger to the OD. So we got the IO gyrocopter with the OD. Oftentimes when we're looking at these last picks, the one that sort of sparks a little bit more excitement from the analysts is the team that ends up winning the game. Do you think this OD is good enough for them?
Yeah, this is a really nice OD pick. He doesn't have very many counters. Like the Lena is, I think, a little bit of a laning counter, but his other matchups this game look really good. Like the supports aren't that annoying for him. At worst, it's like the Edict from the Oracle as a disarm, and that's about it.
Yeah.
They don't have a ton of really hard lockdown to. Because I think one of the important things as a support to look at is if you have a long duration stun and you can stun the OD during his equilibrium, then you're sitting pretty a lot of the time. But they don't really have that here, so I guess we'll just have to see what happens. I mean, Amplfy they're the higher seed coming out of the group stage as well, so I feel like they're favored because of that, and I also like their draft here a little bit more.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, let's hop into it. Game number 1, a best of 3, Adroit facing off against Amplfy, and my goodness gracious, I'm excited for it. We've got ourselves, at least at this situation, it actually looks like they're not going to run the dual lane that I thought we were going to. Maybe they go a full tri-lane and sack the Centaur a little bit. I guess that you don't have to be worried about that much damage coming out early from the IO Gyro, and maybe if you can start the Wraith King off to a good start,
yeah, maybe
the game could look easier.
They might just be looking for a first blood or something.
Yeah.
I think it's more worth it to pressure the Wisp than it is to pressure the Mars. Like I think if they were going to go for a tri-lane, I think I'd prefer to see them tri-lane into the Gyro Wisp than tri-lane into the Mars.
Okay.
Because Mars just kind of needs levels. Initially, you like kind of just need and then you need a tiny bit of fun. Like you need your Soul Ring and maybe your Phase Boots. A Bracer is nice, but then you can still have an impact just running around, popping down arenas and hurling spears.
It looks like already Bach has the double Stout Shield queued up, thinking about going for the creep cutting.
Yeah.
And we'll see where Boomy decides to end as well in this laning stage. Looking for a stun. Natsumi decides we do not need to throw out that mana for not really a chance at a kill. But with Leshrac here, they might be able to make something happen.
Yeah, they might lose one of the bop bounties for this, though. The Gyro's already moving across, and the Wisp is getting run at somewhat, but I don't think the Centaur's really going to be able to do much damage to him.
Already has the Retaliate early.
Yeah, Wisp doesn't want to give him any stacks. He doesn't want to hit him. All right, there you go. Now,
top lane. And if they can take this bounty away, there's a nice pickup there, and the spear does not latch onto the tree. Yeah. So, Amplfy.
There's a little hole right there. The level 1 spear also has a pretty bad range, so you gotta pick your spots fairly carefully. Ryo, okay, he's using the shovel. You can see it. Yeah, he there you go. That's confidence.
Dude, he's not afraid.
That's efficiency. I heard Grant say it the other day. Like, Pro Dota is all about efficiency. That's an efficient, trusty shovel right there.
I like it. Make sure you get the most out of those cosmetics. Mid lane, we've got ourselves 2 of the wards. Are going to be able to find that stun early onto Carl. Just trading hits. The power of Lena right click. 65 on that base damage.
Yeah. Okay, I really like the way that Mac is playing this. He's already got his salve, so he can play super aggro. I think he must have started with it, actually. So that means that he was really confident to just trade hits in like the first wave. He's pushed the wave in towards Carl, and he's making it difficult for Carl to find that opportunity to use his salve. He's also got level 2, but doesn't have the Dragon Slave to be able to cancel this or anything.
Bringing out right now the other Null Tally recipe and then a Mango as well. So wants to get out that maximum amount of harassment possible. And Carl, I don't know if this man is going to shake your hand, give you a high five. This is all business right now.
Yeah. Well, Mac's got the high ground, so any any trades are going to favor him for now.
Bach down bottom. Good job here by the gyrocopter to make sure he gets the rocket barrage damage, but not building retaliate stacks. Harassment without giving kill potential. And with that, chase forward coming. Gotta be careful. It's a good amount of right-click damage. So far, so good. Ooh, Carl. He doesn't have a salve right now, actually. He needs to bring out another one, so he's going to have to hang back for a while now.
I really like the way that Mac is playing this lane. Like, he was keeping his Fiery Soul stacks up, he's trading a lot of hits, keeping himself high on HP, and anytime Carl's coming up to the wave, he's pummeling him back. You know, he's not really caring so much about taking a little bit of creep damage here and there, because he's giving better than he's getting.
Right. Yeah, and if you trade a couple more hits right here, he's potentially going to kill you off. So keep our eyes on that mid lane. 14-5 versus the 8-1 on the OD so far. Feels like Mac is definitely, like
the fake out.
Understanding this.
Boomy brought himself with one illusion, so Carl might not even he doesn't have a ward, but he might not even realize. Oh, they wasted both stuns.
That was not perfect, and the slowdown. It's not going to happen. But still, a lot of pressure on, and Mac does have a mango. He gets Dragon Slave back up. Could try and go for a kill here. Doesn't decide to dive. Although the wraparound.
Oracle.
Oh, this is huge. If he's going to get it, he needs just a little bit of extra range.
I thought I would have tried for it.
That's dangerous, but down in the top lane, there is a battle of brewing, so needs to come back, make sure that Natsumi doesn't get taken out. And at the same time, like, you don't need to dive. They're winning the lane.
Yeah, that's true. Could have forced his Fairy Fire at the least.
Yeah. Good dodge from Carl there. Doesn't take the Dragon Slave to the face. Oh, and a nice little Astral as well. Keeps him from taking too much more damage, but will eat a Dragon Slave afterwards. And get the deny.
So I think this is salve number 3 or salve number 4 for Carl this game. He's like 700 gold behind the Lina at this point.
Wow. Yeah, that's really good for Mac. I think I saw him bring out a set of tangos as well.
Yep.
Invisrun picked up for Jo. We'll see if the Shadow Demon's able to make anything happen with that. A stomp just to create a little bit of separation, make sure Boomy doesn't get ran down here. And can they make anything happen against the Oracle? Get the spear, push back, nice little combination. Still living through it though.
Nice, gains half of the health back, purging off the catcher.
Yeah. Light Strike Ray connects here, and Mac continuing to apply pressure constantly here in this mid lane.
I wonder if Mac's going to try and rotate to refill his bottle with bounties.
Boomy! Ooh! Use the Rocket Barrage there as well. Is Carl getting aggressive here? He's got to be careful.
Oh, the glyphs.
Glyph as well.
Oh, stops him from getting the mana back. That really hurts.
Yeah. Bounty runes. Looks like we get a couple traded there. Amplfy pick up a few, and so do Adroit. So trade off. 2 for 2 again. I mean, how bad is this for the OD? It's not that much of a CS difference.
It's okay. The other heroes on his team are going to make space for him later on, and I think he's going to catch back up. He farms relatively quickly as well, but I think it's more about the fact that the Lina can take this start and then run around and apply some pressure. It's quite a good Lina game from the perspective that there isn't a whole lot of catch for you or heroes that are going to get up in your face.
Right.
That's always the problem for Lina. If there's like an enemy core that's just going to buy a blink and like blink and stun you, you're just going to die. There isn't really any good way to itemize for survivability on this hero. So it's all about your positioning and whatnot, and this game is an easy positioning game for the Lina, I think.
Misses the stun there, and that's going to put a stop to the pressure. I think we saw the Shadow Demon walk over towards mid and give the OD a salve as well, just to try and make this lane a little bit easier for him. But yeah, 11 denies so far for the Lina. Picks up a haste rune. Who's she going for in this one? They imprison Natsumi up top, and the call comes to head down bottom, it looks like, for Mac.
Oh, this would be nice.
They don't have a ward here. They're not going to see this coming from Amplfy. Mac moving. Spirit's going.
They don't have a setup stun exactly, though, so...
Yeah, it's dangerous. All right, haste. They hit it. Nicely played. Going to come in with a stomp afterwards. Full dive. Bach needs to back out. Can they kill him off in time? Mac didn't have the mana. He didn't have mana for Laguna Blade. And now trying to run away from him. This missile is going to connect. They find the kill. All the spirits on the Mac, but it looks like they can get out. They force the rotation.
I mean, they can go Shrine. Really nicely played by the Wisp. He still had a salve, so he just chilled out in the trees, popped the salve, kept the gyrocopter alive, and that does hurt Lina. At least they had the Oracle sitting mid, soaking the experience, so not a total loss, but of course Carl going to be getting free farm in that lane for a little bit.
Yeah. Well, now they're going to swap it, so they've got the Leshrac in tow, ready to make a move, but Vera's done a good job. Kicks up some battle points.
Nice.
Why not? So do they go for the stun play? It's kind of hard when the lane's this far pushed up. Yeah, it looks like instead they're just going to try and pressure this tower with the skeletons.
All right, Jay are coming over to deal with that. They got nice vision on the high ground.
Still 0-0. This is the playoffs. Oh, no. But the arena used Rior just getting level 6, and, well, the stun comes out, still trying to keep him alive. There's a stick there available, but I believe this Leshrac is a goner. First blood, drawn by Carl.
Oh, man. All right, well, Carl's back in it.
Oh, bottom lane, though. Gyrocopter, double edge. Can't get him.
Wisp TPing in with a full bottle.
And, in fact, might need to use the Fate's Edict here to keep Bach alive. Stun comes out, and that might be enough, but the Light Strike Ray not going to connect, and again, Adroit not able to find anything from this as they moved in and can't even bring down that IO. So really well played by Amplfy so far. They've been able to dodge all this aggression, and now look at OD mid. Getting some damage on the tower. Carl gives them the tip.
Yep, well, both mid laners trying to make the same move, but only Carl's stuck. He got the first blood. He's looking great. Mac has been trying to make a bunch of rotations, and he's now behind the OD on the net worth. So,
well, and the other thing to think about is we talked about the potential to take towers. Boomy is going for the lightning into split earth build, so less pressure on the towers.
Yeah, they have done a decent amount of damage to this mid tier 1 already just by virtue of constantly pushing the lane, and now just auto attacking it down with the illusions. Actually, they're going to push it into deny range though.
Dangerous. And the gyrocopter moves in. They get the banishment. Oh, they've got the call down afterwards. This is really bad for Mac if they cannot save him, and they won't. And more so than that, they drain all of the Oracle's mana. He can't save himself even. If they want to dive, it looks like they're going to call it off though. And, well, like you said, deny range.
Yeah, it was a nice split earth, but oh man, the Lina. Yeah, there's another tip. Trying to get in Mac's head a little bit, perhaps.
Question is it working?
I guess we'll just have to see. I think Mac needs to chill out for a second now. The problem is that he still has this Laguna Blade. He really wants to use it. Like,
yeah.
I think he really wants to go to a lane, use his ulti, get a kill, then go back to farming and spamming clarities and stuff like that. And he probably knows that the OD is likely to go for a Midas as well this game. So he feels like Wraith King's like the true carry, and he needs to be just making space, making plays happen. But so far not going too great. Does have a little stack here that he's clearing, so that's nice.
Likewise, though, if you think about this way that this game has gone, Amplfy have just done such a good job of just recognizing the power spikes of Adroit and then dodging them each and every time. Even right here, rotation comes up top. We've seen it a billion times with that gyrocopter. Adroit, they would love to be able to make a play with the Lina, but Amplfy are up here in numbers. Can't really pressure like that against it.
The symmetry of this game is actually pretty crazy, right? I feel like both mid laners have made some of the same rotations. Now we've got the natural Dire come and take the Radiant tier 1, while Radiant go and take the Dire tier 1. So it's a slight lead in Adroit's favor, but the tier 1 hasn't fallen just yet for Amplfy. So
I guess the other thing is taking down that mid, although I believe it was denied. So
yep.
Does make a difference. So they managed to take the top tier 1 tower, and invading the jungle, the smoke comes out. What can Adroit find? Another smoke. Counter smokes going on simultaneously, and then they've also got 6 on IO now. So relocate gank. They've got to be careful on Adroit. This rotation, Arena of Blood is available. Mars backs out. Dire scan. They see they're up on the high ground. And can they even really fight into this with Arena of Blood and relocate cooldown?
It's going to be a bit tough. Centaur's going... Why is Centaur going Vanguard? I really don't understand why Bakarina would do that. What's the incentive?
He's got 2 stout shields, man.
Does
Just gotta finish one of them.
like it helps a little bit against flak cannon, but I don't think there's anything else on the enemy lineup that's really gonna do all that much against. It does help him like tank towers and stuff potentially, but
I guess the other thing is maybe if you want to be somebody that clears through Ancients or something, maybe that's going to be their goal, as they know this Ancient stack is going to be built up, so they want to steal it. That's one possibility of dealing with the IO Gyro.
Because the pipe is just a better item
for fighting,
game,
yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, the only thing I can think about is basically farming and clearing out that Ancient stack.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a lot of they've got a lot of vision in this Radiant jungle, but they're not really able to use it just yet to take any of this.
No.
They're not stealing any farm away from the Radiant side. That is partially because it's just Bach down here by himself. They might eventually swap it around a little bit, and we'll have the Wraith King farming down here potentially. But it seems like for now they're content to just have Bach constantly pressure, spam things out. He might be able to. If we keep cycling like this for a while, the Vanguard might help him take the tier 2.
Right.
Which is something to look out for. And a little bit of a line drawn by Adroit. They really want to like pressure onto the opposing shrine. Sometimes it's worth it when you're playing against a Wisp lineup to go and gank the Wisp, like the Wisp +1.
Right.
Because otherwise you're just risking those 2 heroes relocating in on any other gank that you go for.
Yeah.
So I think that's what they're looking for here.
And they do get the lightning, but nah, they're not going to find it on the gyro. So the smoke is going to be revealed. This ward, I don't know if Amplfy are going to realize that it's happening right now. As the stun goes out and all of the little skeletons coming to say hello. You got to be careful about all that damage there. It sticks around for too long. I guess Io's nearby,
yeah,
so it doesn't really matter.
got heals for him. You can play it pretty fast and loose with the HP and mana.
No Mars here. Mars TPing in now. If he can catch anybody, Stampede, good call. Just get out. Although the missile,
it was the very last Lina auto attack that got that tower last hit. That was really close, but that's great. That's a really good, really nice move for them. That they forced the Mars to TP in. They didn't manage to get any kind of a catch. The bottom lane's immediately going to be pressured all the way up by Bach because he can see anyone TPing onto the shrine. I'd even like him to maybe punch the tower a little bit, but he wants the bounties probably, so he's going to back himself up.
Yep.
And Mac even down here already kind of in position for when Amplfy naturally somebody's going to come down here to shove out bottom. I don't think they're going to completely swap sides. They will continue to mostly play top, but someone's going to be coming to mid lane or bottom at some point.
Well, and they are kind of, you know, if you look at the way that Amplfy have been farming, it's basically just been this area of the map, it feels like. Which, yeah, it's good, definitely. But you would love to be able to make sure that both your OD and your Gyro are getting that farm. And then in comparison, the Mars a little bit behind, and this Leshrack's been able to get a lot for himself. Spear used here in the mid lane onto Lesh, but with IO right behind him. Looks like
Mac's way too far up. He got purged.
Gets punished. The Lina out of position, and Amplfy might be given some tips soon. Or not. I feel like they've done enough.
He had, well, he's got Yules as a potential defensive tool, but that doesn't help you at all against the Demonic Purge. So he was just let Jair run up on him, and that was the end. Maybe it is a slightly harder positioning game for the Lina than I was initially giving it credit for. I just didn't imagine that there was a world where the Shadow Demon could just walk up. But it is nighttime, so...
I guess the other thing was that she was so far away from the rest of her team, but
yeah,
that was because, you know, you're playing in this side of the jungle. Maybe you didn't expect that they were going to try and go on him right there.
Yeah, I may not have known that the Mars had Blink either, and then just got split off. Like, the natural retreat was to try and just immediately cut back to your Tier 1 and join your team, but they got completely cut off by the Arena of Blood. And Gyrocopter already has his Aghanim Scepter, so nice farming item. The stats also pretty nice in a game like this where you're going to be frontlining a reasonable amount for your team. And pretty... Like, I don't even know so much about it being a farm accelerator, but it's an accelerator. It's a huge multiplier for any item that you get after this, right? Like the next item that you get after the Ags feels super value because you've got the Aghanim Scepter already picked up.
Well, and the other thing that we haven't really talked about that much that maybe is the saving grace right now for Adroit, this Wraith King, his Aghanim Scepter, or rather, excuse me, Aghanim Scepter,
That's the timing game.
I mean, it's kind of, you know, his
it's
version
of
it.
Yeah, it's like it's a good item on Wraith King as well. But anyway.
I was saying this Radiance now is about to be offline or online as well. So something else that works well with Adroit's lineup, you know, the missed chance on the OD, super valuable also against this Gyrocopter, at least up until the point where they get BKBs. Can be a timing to play around, but the downside is that the Lina's Ags is going to be heavily delayed because of that last little flub in the engagement.
Yeah, well, and the fact that he's just got no kills.
Yeah.
The team as a whole have no kills. And I think that's not what you want if you're Lina this game, for sure. But Wraith King is definitely the strongest hero on the map now with his Radiance getting delivered. So makes a lot of sense that they would try and force some kind of engagement here, pushing down bottom.
Rior, he's nearby. Gotta be careful about your movement here, Boomy. They get the Arena onto Mac. Dual Scepter lift up immediately. The fight going on off to the side. They take down the Shadow Demon and continuing to control Rior. The Spear, it actually going to be as the Arena Blood wears off. Oracle going to go down in just a moment there. Tried to save himself, but it's not going to happen. Actually, he does have the False Promise. That might be enough. Natsumi chases. They did lose one, and it looks like Carl should be able to make his way out with that Force Staff. So 2-for-1 exchange. Take that every day of the week for Adroit. This is the timing.
I feel like the relocate was a little bit slow there. Like I don't know if the Wisp was deciding whether or not they wanted to reload on top of the Lina, who was trapped inside the arena, or if they wanted to come in on the side. It is a little bit scary with the relocate this game that there's AoE stuns that you could just be TPing straight into.
Oh yeah.
So I could understand the hesitation, but Mac kind of not outplayed Rior necessarily, but you know, Yule's Dim stunned him. The Spear of Mars didn't end up doing anything, and really felt like the Arena of Blood didn't do a whole lot. And we saw the Wraith King is just so strong at this point with his Radiance. He's waiting forward, doing a ton of damage, holding everybody back. So
I think also that was a relatively blind jump onto the lane. I don't think he knew who all was going to be back there. So probably looked a lot worse than it actually was getting that arena up. But Mac was not stopped, and they were able to get all of his spells off. Good fight for Adroit. But now Amplfy trying to be the ones to make the move themselves. Walk up onto the high ground. Arena of Blood is there yet again. Natsumi, they don't really want to initiate onto this Wraith King. He's still got ulti. And now they're kind of... Well, they get Boomy. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Carl's got a lot of mobility. He's got Blink and Force Staff already picked up. Actually very farmed on this OD. The hero does flash farm nicely.
Oh, back lines. They blow up Jo. Gonna get the stun as well, but the heal's coming in from that Oracle in just a moment. And can they bring down this Centaur? They do kill him off. But now Natsumi focuses here onto the Gyrocopter. A save coming from Carl while they take down the tower. And now Adroit just need to back off.
Yeah, the OD imprisonment save. The double save from Amplfy, I think we're going to be seeing that more and more and more as the game goes on. That just whatever target they try and go on Adroit is immediately going to get put under, and then there'll be heals to follow it up. That's really difficult because Adroit, their lineup is quite built around just like chain stunning one person into oblivion and deleting them from the fight. And I don't think that's really going to be an option. But fortunately, Wraith King's still very farmed, going to have his blink soon. maybe he can get into the back lines, like find the Shadow Demon first, remove one of those saves.
Or the Aya would be nice as a way to, if he's separated from the rest of them. I guess you still have the problem then of being OD Astraled or what have you.
Well, I think if you don't go for if you go for the Wisp first instead of the Shadow Demon, then the Shadow Demon is just going to save the Wisp.
Right, exactly.
So you have this, you have this problem of you got to order the team fight in just the right way.
Yeah. Well, 2,000 gold lead for Adroit, as they have been able to get a little bit better just of the farming around the map. Not so in terms of the kills, as it is still 6-3. But it has this feeling of both teams of kind of, it's almost like that no rush 20 minutes type of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like you've got your items now, let's go in, we're going to throw our faces at each other and see who comes out on top. And right now with this Vlad's, Rior gives them all the team fight items that they're kind of needing. And you know, you look at the side of Adroit, it's that Vanguard. Right now, a casual cloak from Bach hasn't decided to go back for the pipe, although it we'll see if that's something that he thinks about going for. Was it on the courier actually? Because it feels weird to just have the casual cloak. He should have more net worth than this, right?
I think a little bit more.
Okay.
Maybe he has the hood.
Okay.
On the courier. I do like that he's going for the halberd though. It's a very nice item against the OD.
And the gyro. I mean, I guess gyro
sure.
later probably, more so than now.
Yeah. I guess the one thing is that so the Lena's got Ags now. Haven't really talked about that too much. The burst damage is certainly going to be very, very useful. And they've also, Boomy's actually managed to pick up a Spirit Vessel. So that is going to be pretty sweet against some of these saves. Well, I guess just the healing from the Wisp. Though the only issue is that Gyrocopter now has a BKB. So you're not going to be popping the Gyro without the Wisp getting involved, but maybe you can kill off the Wisp a little bit more easily. Won't be able to save himself with the mech or anything like that.
Yeah, that seems to be one of the ways to do it. But like you said, you've got these sort of double trouble in saves coming from Jo and Carl.
Yeah.
So, going to be tough.
Oh man, Bach just straight TPing in here, but
he's crazy.
But Rior is okay. He cancels his TP away. He realizes that there might be a fight here.
Need to be careful. The movement coming in, getting the vision. The OD jumps in, already using Astro. Rior only catching Mac in this one. Is that good enough? It looks like it is. Mac just gets completely exploded in this BKB reveal, walking into Adroit and just taking them down one by one. The BKB from Wraith King doing nothing. And it looks like this is going to be a double kill. Abed is Amplfy just making it happen with the BKB timings. And Mac didn't get anything off.
Yeah, Mac was expecting to get saved by the Oracle, I think, but Oracle was getting pushed back by Gyrocopter.
Yeah.
In the midst of that fight. They do lose half health on this tier 3 top just to some skeletons, I think.
Right.
That's what Rior was trying to TP away to deal with as that fight broke out. So it was the right idea from Adroit, but unfortunately the execution was just a little bit off the mark. Like, I think if Oracle had actually managed to get the False Promise onto the Lina, the fight looks very, very different, because the OD was actually also being zoned out of the fight.
Right.
At first, the Leshrac was keeping him out, and he was stuck on the high ground, and then the Wraith King later took over and was just hurling stuns at him. But still, just because they lose the Lina instantly without him casting any spells, it ends up being a pretty big win for Amplfy.
And the other thing that we haven't talked about much, but Boomy getting this extra damage out from the Leshrac, if he actually has some mana, and you know, I guess that's one of the things with like a Lesh, right, is that he does a lot of damage, and the reason that he ends up being balanced as a carry hero is because he needs a ton of mana regen to keep going. But if he just goes back to Fountain, stays full, topped off, when he gets into a fight, it's like you have a whole nother core almost.
It feels so bad as Leshrac if you die with mana remaining.
Right.
So, yeah, he can really pump out a lot. Does need to be a little bit wary of the Sanities. That's going to slow down the damage output a little bit. And there is going to be a secondary BKB on Amplfy before too long. They are going to have the BKB up on the Mars in relatively short order, but Wraith King is still #1 on the net worth. So we'll see. Maybe Natsumi can still keep things going for his team here.
Boomy also trying to get towards the BKB. We did see that this Hex is almost done for Carl. Mystic Staff as well as the Ultimate Orb.
That's so scary.
This is a terrifying moment. But again, it's part of the reason why this Oracle can save the day. Needs to get towards some cast range. whether that's via an Aether Lens or just that level 15 talent, but it's going to be a little while. And this is the way that this hero has been nerfed over and over again, the False Promise range.
Yeah. The nerf hurts him a lot in this specific game against the Mars. Like, the Mars ulti, if Rior positions it well, and then make sure to spear the person towards his team.
Right.
It just makes it impossible for Oracle to then save that target. And I think that's part of what the Oracle is for this game, is to be able to save people from the Mars initiation and whatnot. But it's not always possible, unfortunately.
Well, Amplfy looking good so far, and now everybody TPs away as all of Adroit head to the north side. We did get the no reincarnation mana cost talent for Wraith King.
Yep.
Makes sense versus that OD. And are there any real timings that they're waiting for now? I guess BKB for Mac would be good, BKB for Lesh, but he's still a little ways away. Are they just stalling now to wait for those items?
Yeah, they're not really close to anything, huh? It does definitely feel like we've got Amplfy coming up on the bigger timing now that they've got their... They got the Hex picked up. They're not too far away from the BKB for the Mars. They're definitely going to go and make a play with those items. There's no reason not to. And Mac had such a good, like, the first few minutes of this game went so well for him, and then everything else just feels like it's been downhill. He's not even that far ahead on the Mars in terms of net worth. I'm interested to see how the rest of his game goes. Once he gets his level 20 talent, his damage output is still going to be pretty good. I think that this like spellcaster build is a little bit less reliant on having a ton of farm than kind of going for the right-click build, but still not the situation that he wants to be in, especially since once the Wraith King's BKB starts to wear down, I think he just starts getting kited in the fights, right? Like, he's going to get imprisoned, or he's going to get demonic purged, disrupted. It's not going to be an easy game for the Wraith King later on.
Jump in, quick stun onto Lesh. The turnaround stun coming from Natsumi. Boomy finds it, BKB used. Very bold. They're holding on to the BKB for Natsumi. Boomy trying to walk his way out of here, but will eventually... Oh, get saved. Okay, by the Oracle. But the relocate coming in. A great stun. Finds the catch. Gets the kill onto both of them. And Adroit woke up, ladies and gentlemen. It made it happen.
Yeah, that was not a fight that Amplfy were even planning on taking, I think. They just... A little bit too cocky from Rior. And now straight into the pit for Adroit. This is a huge turnaround for them. And okay, can they force them out of here? They are going to buy back on one.
Okay. And with
trying to scare him off.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to back out for now. So get the win. It is only the buyback on the Isle. You would love to have been able to get the gyros as well. Yeah. But a bit too scary. By the way, can we settle once and for all? Is it Amplify? What do you think?
I would honestly prefer to just call them Amplify.
I'm down. Let's do it.
Yeah. I think that's what they're going for, right?
That's fair. That's fair enough.
Actually, I just don't know how many letters are you allowed to have in your team tag.
Oh. I feel like that can't be the reason.
No, I guess the branding seems like it's also Amplify. Anyway, but let's call him Amplify. I'm down with that. I like the decision to run straight into the Roshan pit, at least force the one buyback. There weren't really any other objectives that they could go for. Spear coming back. Is the center the target you really want, though?
They find the Oracle as well. And Bach, no Stampede right now, so, well, he eventually is going to go down. This is not even a fight. This is just a murder. They'll take down Bach, get the kill from Carl. And do they go right into the pit now? They're pinging it, but I don't know if they're going to go for it.
I don't know if they can. It's okay. They're pinging it. They're gonna give it a shot at the very least. I think it's very much a similar play to what
they found him. He was invis, but walked into the range of a sentry, but able to get out. That was so dangerous.
Stressful moment. Stressful moment. Okay, I guess they do actually have the damage here with the Vlads, the Ags, the Maelstrom. Gyrocopter is actually pumping it out. And they're not coming over to contest. So a minor hiccup from Amplfy as they take a really weird fight at mid. And we can see why the Wisp is always kind of hesitant about these relocates, because he needs to choose the exact right spot. Otherwise, they both just get chain stunned. I guess the gyrocopter can like come in with BKB running, but that's not how he wants to play.
Yeah.
And now he doesn't have to because he's got the Aegis. So also going to have another item before too long, just going straight into the Satanic, actually. Very survivable build.
And look at this.
Bot.
Speaking of survivable build, Natsumi queuing up the Aghanim Scepter.
Okay.
So a little bit of, you know, I guess this is one of those games, though, that if they just get off their spells, particularly for Mac, their chances to win the fight is way better.
It's so nice for their supports, though, as well. Like, Oracle dies, but then he can still get the False Promise on a core.
Right.
Or Leshrac dies, but then he still gets to dump a lot of mana into the fight in the form of damage. I actually really like this decision for the Red team. I guess what else could he go for here? I guess like a Basher or Nullifier or something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
No, I think this is actually a really good choice.
Very cool. I like it a lot. It does sort of become a little bit weird later because it means his next item is probably going to have to be the synth afterwards, I would assume, which would give him another slot. So that means it's another like 2,000 gold where he has to wait before he can even think about buying another item. Unless you're going to be doing some weird sort of switching around your items in the backpack type of play.
You can ditch the Midas for a little bit.
How dare you?
Are you a Midas gamer?
I'm a Midas gamer.
Okay.
Oh, look out though.
Amplfy, smoked up again. They don't have the vision, so they're being a little bit careful. They don't want to run straight up into the shrine. And a little bit suspicious to see the gyrocopter just pushing mid all by himself. There's no way that Adroit think, oh yeah, gyrocopter's just he's pushing mid while his whole team's bottom.
Yeah, it's happening. So they have an idea of where they're at, and Natsumi is going to be the one that holds this front line. Rior jumps forward, Spear going to connect on him. This isn't the greatest of targets. Purge off, the W from the Shadow Demon. Jump forward, though. Good jump. Can they kill him off in time? Leshrac pops the BKB, and they're turning to fight. They did bring down the Wraith King. Great save from the Laguna Blade is going to keep the gyrocopter alive, and the Wisp comes back in for the heals as well. They keep him up. Still trying to walk away. He's so freaking low, but it is going to be the Aegis down. Everybody from Adroit ready to go in for a second round now. Can they kill him off a second time? BKB, TP, he's gone. But so too will be this IO. Big win for Adroit.
I don't know what Carl did that fight. Why did he dropped a 0 stack Sanities. He still did some damage, but like I think most of that damage was just killing the Wraith King on his first life. And I'm now looking at his inventory, and I'm wondering why he has a Lincoln Sphere instead of the BKB. Maybe it's to do with the Laguna Blade, but big fight win for Adroit, and now they are just coming down mid.
And maybe also some of it is feeling like he could save himself from the Laguna Blade, or rather, excuse me, that there's other options to deal with the Laguna Blade, that he could have had either Shadow Demon save him or he save himself, like we saw just in that last fight against the Gyro. But nonetheless, big win for Adroit. They're 6,000 gold lead, but more importantly, they've taken all the outer Tier 2 towers now.
Well, turns out that the fight can look pretty good for Adroit if the Lina actually manages to get off her spells.
Yeah.
So that's certainly good news. Mac is a little bit more in the game, even feeling confident enough to pick up some BOTs here. Maybe he'll be out on the map split pushing a little bit more. It is a nice item to have to kind of respond to the constant Gyro Wisp split push, because they're always going to be shoving at lanes and then joining their team later on with the relocate.
It's 1,000 pure damage coming out right now from the Lina. And this is not very tanky on the Shadow Demon or the IO. I mean, it's more so than some other heroes. Like, you know, 2.6 strength gain isn't terrible for Shadow Demon, and of course, IO being a strength hero has 3.0. So there's ways that looks kind of better, but
they're still getting blasted though.
Yeah, that's true. This BKB from Boomy is so clutch.
This is the real Death Star build. Like just blow up whoever.
Yeah.
But they need more from there. I think that fight is like some of the previous fights. It's OD gets a decent amount while the Lina does 0. That last fight is OD doesn't really do enough, and Lina does a lot.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think they were like the Wisp. I don't think was tethered to the Gyro. Maybe the weird decision overall was actually to give the Aegis to the Gyrocopter and not the OD.
Yeah.
Because I think it created some weird priorities where the IO was then like, oh well, Gyro has Aegis, so he doesn't need me, so I should go tether to the OD. But he can't really keep the OD alive in the same way.
So one other thing to think about here as well is, you know, we talked about how good of an OD pick this is, and I think it is, but the other thing that the OD pick made this was a really good BKB game, and now we're going to have 4 BKBs on Adroit with the Centaur picking his up soon as well. And all of a sudden, like, where is your damage on the Radiant once those BKBs come out? They don't have it.
Yeah, they have to fight through the BKBs. This is the window where Carl is going to fall off a little bit, and if they can successfully, I think that's the other thing, they need to try and take fights on the opposing side of the map so that they can wear down the BKBs without losing too many objectives.
Got it.
So even if the fight is a trade, if the BKB charges get used, then OD's happy with that.
Aghanim Scepter done for Natsumi. And meanwhile, they saw that he was down there. Now they're going to TP and find whoever they possibly can. Bach there, blinks away, BKB, Stampede, run out of here. Adroit, they're gone. But they did use the BKB charge on Lesh and Stampede.
Yeah. So that's a win for Amplfy for sure.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see how this Wraith King Ags ends up working out, because he's still farming pretty quickly. He will probably still get a couple more items, but starting to get super slot limited, so every item after this point feels like it's not really going to be as scary.
Right.
Gyrocopter still has a little bit of room to grow. He's just going for a Daedalus, in fact.
I think this is the answer to the BKBs, right? Like, you need to be able to do some damage.
Yeah, just hit him.
And until, like, OD is never really going to have something. I guess the big thing that he can look for is just the blink hex and then try and blow up that one target and maybe get some sanities off as well. As well as being a safe hero, but...
Yeah, for sure.
Top lane, Gyrocopter ready to push this one out. And Adroit feeling very comfortable at this point. I feel like this Lesh pick has been so valuable. Like, having just this 4th core that throws out damage and is almost catching up to the Mars now.
Yeah, Boomy's doing a really good job of just soaking up any spare farm that's on the map. And like you said, he is going to be scary going later on. And I think one of the scariest things about the Adroit lineup is that if they all get 25, especially the Leshrac, they can just take your whole base in like 2 seconds.
Right.
Between Skeletons, AC, and Diabolic Edict. Like, what are you going to do about that?
It's true.
So Amplfy have to be very careful. The next Roshan going to be kind of the next big objective. It's going to be up in about 50 seconds time. So we'll definitely need to look out for that, and both teams going to be trying to make rotations. You can already see that the warding is kind of loosely around that area anyway. Both teams preparing for something, and Adroit are going to be the ones to kind of make the first move. I like this as well. They send out the skeleton, so the... Oh, no. He wanted them to apply pressure mid, but they don't see the wave, so they're going on a little vacation to the dire jungle.
No. This ward just giving a little bit of vision to this camp. They're like, this is where we gotta go.
All right, I see them. Target acquired, boys.
All right, who's behind? Oracle behind. Carl. Spotted, jumped on, caught, good save, Reor, BKB to try and turn this one. They're going to keep alive one for the moment. Natsumi going to be able to chase this out, but the Carl BKB is going to wear off shortly as well. As Boomy runs in the midst of all of them, they are not doing enough damage to Bach. He's able to walk away afterwards. They find themselves the kill on the IO, and Bach being chased by Carl this entire time. Carl's doing nothing in this fight, and they give him the tip. Carl just wants the kill, but it ain't happening. They killed off the rest of his team. Io, Gyro, and the Shadow Demon all went down.
There's just so much damage from Adroit. Like, the fight recap, Boomy did by far the most damage in that fight for his team. They speared the Centaur, but he'd already popped most of his spells at that point. But what can they actually do?
It feels so hard for them now. And no Sanity's Eclipse this time either. Boomy running away is going to be saved by the Oracle and going to try and get out of there. Does complete the TP. In the meantime, Natsumi in a little bit of trouble. They bought back on both the Shadow Demon and the Gyrocopter for this. They have to get the kill, and it looks like they will take down the Wraith King, but that is all.
Okay, so they gotta get something on the swing back here. Fortunately for them, Roshan is alive. The Dire they got a little bit of vision in that area. They got a ward behind the pit, kind of, but are they actually going to try and fight this? Wraith King does have buyback.
Nice play by Carl here. They're going to buy back now on the Wraith King. He's actually gone in really deep. I thought this was to make a little bit of extra space, but if they're not careful, they might just lose the OD here for
timing.
nothing.
Oh my.
They get the catch now, and meanwhile the Mueller proc ends up hitting.
Oh, no, this is getting really dicey. They desperately need this Aegis. They don't get it.
They bought back on the OD. BKB pop trying to take this down. If they get the Roche, it's going to be a huge win, and they're able to take it away. Oh my goodness gracious. Adroit still low. Natsumi, he's going to be healing back up from all of this afterwards. They're trying to keep alive this gyrocopter. The disarm is there so he can attack, but it looks like it's not going to be enough. Coming back in a second, the reincarnation, the stun goes out, able to find that Shadow Demon, take themselves this gyrocopter. So much heals coming out from this IO with the Holy Locket, but is it going to be enough? He goes back in for a second round. Another spear goes out, doesn't connect. Mac able to make it happen. The right clicks are there, and that is going to be the Aegis. It looks like, though, with already a couple having gone down, Adroit just need to back out. They lost the Lesh, and he does not have buyback.
So they do manage to force down the Aegis, but lots of, a couple of buybacks being traded there. So clutch that and so important that the Gyrocopter manages to pick up the Aegis. If he doesn't pick up the Aegis, that, like, the whole game might have just been over right in an instant there. But Amplfy still managing to clutch it out and now having a little bit of an opportunity. I don't think they'll be able to force too much onto the high ground.
You got to be careful right now. Amplfy, buyback status across the board. They have it on the Io and the Mars. And you talked about the strength with which you can push. Granted, that is with the Leshrac level 25, which he's still a little ways away from. But these next couple of minutes could start to get a little bit dicey. I think that now Amplfy can clear out this top tier 2 tower. There's still one standing in the bottom lane. But no more Aegis. It's kind of reset this fight a little bit. Did anybody end up using the cheese? They have cheese on the Lina. So they were able to get something out of that from Adroit.
All right. So they at least managed to pick that up. Yeah, it's a tense couple of minutes. I don't know if either team will try and make any plays. I feel like it's a little bit better for Adroit at the moment just because they still have Lina's buyback and she's got BOTs.
Right.
So if they wanted to force a fight, all they need to do is kill either the Gyro or the OD. And they could potentially get a lane of racks, but it's hard. They do have a good ward over here, close to the enemy base, so could be something to smoke towards.
Yeah.
And they are kind of grouping up at the moment, though we don't actually know if they have any smokes left. They do have one on Boomy. Okay. Yeah, I think you smoke here. Arrows being drawn by Amplfy. They're also smoked. Battle in the river potentially. Radiant Shrine is available for this fight though. Oh,
they got to be careful here.
Yeah, they don't want to come down off of this high ground.
So Centaur has the Aghanim Scepter completed.
Oof.
Damage reduction, pretty good.
Okay, that's the mysterious disappearing regen rune. I wonder what happened there.
Io has it bottled. This could be a huge turning point as well. Boomy. Missile, throws out, stun, find it. Take down that Io super quickly. When he comes out of this one, he's going to be so low. Can they kill off any more of these heroes? Buyback from the Io. He can relocate in if he wants to. BKB, though, they're very, very low on the charges. Natsumi turns onto. He still has the relocate, or excuse me, the reincarnation, and Balk coming back again in a second. So the Oracle going to die in just a moment here as well. This is not looking good for Adroit. They've already lost one. Centaur, no buyback, dead for 2 minutes. Natsumi very low as well. No more reincarnation for 25. Carl would love to find him, but instead he finds that Oracle. 2 dead, no buyback, looking for Mac. Can they get him? A triple kill for Carl. In fact, his Boomy went down as well. Lior lifted up. And now, what do you do as Adroit? They're in your base. It's time to party.
The damage output from this gyrocopter is absolutely insane.
11,000.
That's what I'm talking about when I call the Aghanim Scepter. It's such a big strength multiplier for the gyro. He doesn't have to even.
And they're just going for the tier 4s.
Yeah, they're doing it.
Unbelievable. As they're gonna have to buy back on the Lesh and try and take this fight. I mean, I wonder now if you're sort of questioning if you can make this happen. They're still going for it, taking down that full set of racks, hitting this tier 4 tower, and Natsumi, he's up front and center, has reincarnation yet again. They jump forward though, the Hex is out. They found the Leshrac, he doesn't have an answer for this. There's no save, Boomy. That's the BKB, but now he just has to get out as much damage as possible. Mac barely able to live through this one. A stray flat cannon shot could potentially kill him off here, as they are still chasing forward for more, and this might be about all she wrote as the chase forward comes, but it's not looking like it's going to be enough. Natsumi in the grave. save, and this is going to be Amplfy taking game number 1.
Oh, the satanic on the gyrocopter. They just kept, he was just alive forever, right? They just sitting in the middle of the fight, doing so much damage. The BKBs finally wore down a little bit, so Carl actually starting to contribute a little bit more. And the Wraith King, I liked the idea of the Aghanim Scepter, but it seemed as though he just kind of hit a little bit of a wall.
Yeah.
After picking that up, and the rest of the team wasn't able to do. That is the other thing to say about the Lina build, is that if you one-shot somebody, it looks amazing,
right.
But your sustained damage after that is pretty much non-existent. Like, you almost need to use it to kill off a core, and we just got to the point where the Amplfy here is just tanked up.
And they had the double save, too. We saw that a couple of times being really key. I mean, and like you said, that damage. In that one fight, Gyrocopter did more damage than, almost more damage than the Centaur did the entire rest of it. Absolutely insane stuff coming out from Amplfy. And, I mean, it's got to be said, right? Like, IO Gyro, there's a reason these still get banned out in the first phase.
Yeah, 60k hero damage from
nuts.
From the Gyrocopter that game. Oh, man.
So tough stuff for Adroit, but this is a best of 3, no longer the best of 1s. And it feels like it's that moment where made a couple of adjustments. I think that the Adroit draft still had some strong points to it. There were a couple moments where it felt like they could hit a timing well. But then, of course, you had the problems of, BKBs running low. And that's when Amplfy really took it to them.
Yeah, they played really well, I think. And some of the, like Boomy especially, there was a great moment where he was tracking the OD's BKB timing perfectly and like nailed him right as the BKB ran out. But I do think that they just had perhaps the slightly weaker draft. Could have looked very different if max rotations had landed. I think maybe this game looks really different if they have a support that can, or just an offlaner that can set things up a little bit more and a little bit earlier. Because we saw a lot of times where they rotated around looking for something, but Wraith King was kind of the only reliable stun, and then Amplfy kind of danced around them in the early game, right? It was like 4 or 5-0 for the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for game number 1, and we are going to have a pretty cool series here. I'm excited.
Yeah, this should be good.
I'm not really sure how to think about it going into game number 2 because it felt like we talked about, similar movements throughout most of that early game. But we are going to go to a short little break, so stay tuned, everybody. More coming up of Adroit versus Amplfy right after this.